The following is an interview with Miss World Canada Anastasia Lin and China Aid Vice President Kody Kness regarding Miss Lin's efforts to advocate for religious freedom in China and the resulting harassment and threats received by her father, who still resides in China, from Chinese government authorities.
My name is Anastasia Lin. I'm a student in University of Toronto. Recently I got crowned Miss World Canada in 2015.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I want to ask you a few questions related to your advocacy for religious minorities in China, and specifically the events that have transpired regarding your father because of that advocacy. First of all, I'd like to ask you why you think it's important to advocate on behalf of the persecuted communities in China, such as house church Christians, Tibetan Buddhists, Uyghur Muslims, and of course Falun Gong practitioners.
Because these people, they have no avenue of recourse within their own borders. So I think outside support, international solidarity is the only way to stop abuses that's inside China.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And tell me about some of the advocacy efforts that you've been involved in over the last few years to raise awareness of the persecuted religious communities in China.
So I started to act in films and TV series that are related to human rights issues that are in China since I was 18. So that's been the past 8 years. And I worked with the Office of Religious Freedom in Canada, and also the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
And was there any particular event or incident that happened in your life that triggered that advocacy?
Yes, in one of the TV series, we often have these human rights abuse victims who escape China to Canada to help out, volunteer for us, to help out the logistics. And there was this one grandma. She came out from China a few months prior to she joined the production, and she took care of me. We had a very good relationship. And then a few months after, I heard that she passed away. They told me that they have injected poison substance into her blood. And then it never really got cured. She was a Falun Gong practitioner. I saw the bruises on her body when she first came out. And she was 70 years old. I think someone's got to speak about it. Yeah, they don't have a loud enough voice in the international community. They certainly don't have a voice inside China. So I think it's important to do what I can to help them.
Thank you for sharing that. We understand that you've spoken to your father since he's had some experiences in China that have created worry within your family. Can you talk about some of those experiences and what his reaction has been, and your reaction to those incidents in China?
Right, so intimidation of family members is a tactic that the communists use quite often on dissidents that are outside the border. That's the way that they use to control dissidents, to manipulate them. I've heard of a lot of stories like that before, but this is the first time myself, has been directly exposed to this kind of persecution. It's very unfortunate. My father, he is still very scared, of course. But I think it's important to speak out, because if I back down now, then the security force will know that they have a way to manipulate me. And the best way to protect my family, I believe at this moment, is to raise enough attention. And they know that no matter what, I'll continue to speak out, and they'll probably back away.
So we know that you've used your acting career and now your platform as Miss World Canada to talk about these issues. Are there other opportunities that you foresee for you to speak out about this issue using your professional background?
I have some movie and TV series lined up. Some would speak out about the corruption that's happening inside China. I like to do this kind of TV series because I think Um, the producer, the team itself, is made up of brave souls that are not intimidated by the power the communists have overseas. And during such production, I just felt like there's this constant rush of positive energy. I feel like these people are the spine of the community overseas, even Chinese. So, yeah, those productions, I plan to do them in the next couple of years. And also, I want to work with the Canadian government more to try to have different chances to speak out about specific issue related to the persecution that's happening in China.
Can you talk about the experience that your father and your family members have had in China, some of the specific things that have happened to them, and how they learned about your recent advocacy for religious freedom?
Right. So at the beginning, after I won, my father was really, really happy. 4 days after my crowning, he sent me messages about just don't get involved in politics anymore. Otherwise, I won't send you any support. And you think that they don't know about this, but everything you send here that has anything political, it has been censored. And that's when I realized something was wrong. He never really speak to me that way. So I asked him what's wrong. Like I'm not involved in politics really. I'm speaking up for human rights. Human rights is not politics. So he then sent me, do you know what the security force has told me? So if you keep doing this, our family might end up in like a cultural revolution. That's a very scary thing to say. Because during the Cultural Revolution, the older generation of Chinese, they all know what it is. People get tortured, publicly criticized, thrown into jail, some even killed. And family would turn against each other, family members. So I asked him, did they threaten you? And he said, please do not ever mention about this again.
You're very brave for speaking out on these issues, and thank you for the advocacy that you've dedicated your life to. It's so important, as you say, for these Chinese citizens in China who are wishing to only practice their faith freely. And as we know, that's a basic human right. And I think I would agree that it's not political. These concerns that you raise are about human rights, which are internationally protected in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and other treaties and conventions that China has signed on to. And so we stand with you as you advocate for your father and for your own beliefs and for all religious minorities in China.
I got most of my courage from these victims. After they came out, a lot of the TV productions, before I do them for the preparation part, I have to interview a lot of them. And I find the faith, courage, and hope that they had kept them going this far, no matter what kind of difficulty, adversity that they faced. So that made me think of my life and look at the difficulties that I face. And in comparison, it's so trivial. So really thought and belief and conscience is the most important part, most essential part of who we are. So I think it's very important to not let people take it away from us. I'm glad for the work that you are doing.
Before we end our interview, something about your particular situation or others that you may want to share with us?
Right now, I'm at the end of this year, Miss World's final international competition is going to be held in China. So I will need a visa to get in to represent Canada. And I think it's important that I do go there. And I'll only send a message. It's also, I believe, a sign of hope for a lot of families. So I I just hope that everybody would support me in this whole process. Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. Okay.
China Aid is a Christian international human rights organization with a mission to expose religious freedom and human rights abuse, encourage those abused, and equip community and religious leaders in China to respond to abuse. For more information on this case and others, please visit ChinaAid.org.